AGUA Special Utility District, regular called board meeting, 6:01 p.m. I have item number 1, call to order. 1A, roll call. Maribel Diaz.
Present.
Present. Cesar Rodriguez. Absent. Ricardo Perez.
Here.
Present. Lloyd Loya. Absent. Homer Tijerina.
Here.
Present. We do have a quorum. Item 1B, invocation. It's going to be given by Albert.
Let's go ahead and bow our heads. Father God, we just thank you today for bringing us here. Thank you for your mercies for this day. And today, Lord, as we are gathered here at Agua, Lord, I pray over the staff, the board of directors, Father, that you would guide and direct all the business that is mentioned here today. You would guide them and give them the guidance that they need, the knowledge and understanding of everything that's spoken today, Lord. I just pray you be with them, bless them, and keep them safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Item C, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1D, public comments.
Yes, Madam President, we don't have any public comments.
No public comments. Okay, thank you. Item number 2, minutes. 2A, approval of minutes for June 6, 2022, our board meeting.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina and I have a second by Perez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on a non-standard service agreement for water and wastewater to be submitted to R.S. La Homa LLC for the cost related to water and wastewater service for La Homa Rep subdivision.
Good evening, board members. Milo Salinas with M2 Engineering. La Homa Rep subdivision is a 2.399 acre tract of land located on the northwest corner of La Homa Road and U.S. Expressway 83 within the City of Palmview. It consists of one commercial lot and connecting to water along the expressway and sewer in Veterans and La Homa. We recommend approval.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
I got a question on that. Is the line for the sewer is gonna be big enough for everybody to connect on that? I think there's about 15 acres there.
Yes.
Are they gonna make it big enough for somebody else to connect to that sewer and then go back to La Homa and then?
Yes, they're proposing an 8-inch line, which will basically, and it starts 15 feet deep, just to be able to extend it further along the expressway, and then further to the west, that would connect with eventually another line. That would go back to the main, because the main line is on Veterans.
Yeah, on Bensten Palm Drive.
Yes.
But this one is big enough for what's the capacity of the 8 line?
I'll have to get back to you on that, but it's sized enough to fulfill like this property, and there's only so many that can connect, which is right there along the expressway between Bensten Palm and La Homa.
Yeah, how many acres is that? Like 15 acres? You're only buying the corner 2 acres, right? Or
Yeah, this is only roughly like 2.4 acres. So in between there's a tract of land, and then to the west there's also some.
Right, because there was another franchise that was going to be moving in next to. They went across the street next to Burger King.
Yes, I believe that one they haven't submitted anything yet, but I've heard that they're proposing to connect to the line on Brayful.
Okay. Second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Tijerina and I have a second by Perez. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 4, discussion and possible action on a non-standard service agreement for water to be submitted to Peña Chapa Development, Inc. for the cost related to water service for Era Monte Phase 2 subdivision.
This is a Eramonte Phase 2, 75.16 acre tract of land located along Circle 6th Street, approximately 350 feet north of Malfour Road within the City of La Joya ETJ. The project consists of 121 single-family residential lots, and we recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Tijerina and a second by Perez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on a non-standard service agreement for water to be submitted to Peña Chapa Development, Inc. for the cost related to water service for Aramonte Phase 3 subdivision.
Eramonte Phase 3 is basically adjacent to Eramonte Phase 2. This tract is 45.75 acres, abutting, as I mentioned, Eramonte Phase 2, and it consists of 89 single-family residential lots. Recommend approval.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Diaz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion and possible action to approve vendors for auto mechanic services for district vehicles.
Yes, good evening, board members and staff. In front of you, we have 3 mechanics. This is our annual quotes that we get for our services. And we got 3 quotes from Guzman Tune-Up, Joe's Auto, and 911 La Homa. And I'm recommending 911 La Homa and Guzman Tune-Up for another year of services. They've been good. What I like about 911 La Homa is that they'll do the towing for us at no extra charge, wherever it is. So that's something that is a plus for us. So I'm recommending them both if it's something that we can have.
So move.
Okay. I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Perez.
What was the second one called?
It's
Guzman.
911 La Homa and Guzman Tune-Up.
Guzman Tuna. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and possible action to approve vendors for tire maintenance and repairs for district vehicles.
It's the same thing. We got 3 quotes from Pete's Muffler Shop, Scott's Tire Center, and also Dominguez Tires. And I'm recommending Pete's Muffler Shop and Scott's. Pete is centralized in La Jolla, so it's convenient for our district to go there. And Scott, what I like about him as well is that he offers a service trip to go out there if our tractors or heavy equipment gets stalled in the road. They'll do that service for us.
Where is that one from?
They're from Mission.
Mission.
Yes. And Pete does service calls, but it's only in La Jolla area, and it's only if they have time. But Scott will do it at any time available, 24/7.
Okay.
And I'm recommending both as well,
Okay.
Pete's and Scott's.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Diaz. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 8, discussion and possible action to approve vendors for oil changes and preventive maintenance for district vehicles.
Yes, it's also for our vehicles. It includes oil changes, air filters, filters for the diesel vehicles. And it's Fiesta Loop. We got quotes from them, 911 La Homa, and also Turbo Loop. So Fiesta came in at if you see the quotes, they seem higher, but they offer more services than the other ones. So I'm recommending Fiesta Loop. We've worked with them in the past, and anything the vehicle needs, if it's not needed at that service, they won't do the service for us. They'll wait for the next service. They'll recommend, we can wait, just I won't charge you for this until next time.
Okay.
So I'm recommending Fiesta Loop for another year.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Diaz. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert.
Item number 9, discussion and possible action on approval to update signers with Wells Fargo. Mr. Salinas.
Yes, Madam President, we're seeking authorization to update the signers with Wells Fargo. We currently have 2 accounts with them through AGUA, of course, SUD, Texas Water Development Board commitments. One is for La Habana and the other one for Palmview sanitary sewer. So we're recommended to update to the current officers, which is Mrs. Esmeralda Solis, Maribel Diaz, Cesar Rodriguez, and Mr. Ricardo Perez.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Diaz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 9. Number 10, discussion and possible action on approval of a resolution authorizing the issuance of AGUA Special Utility District Waterworks and Sewer System Revenue Refunding Bonds, Series 2022, authorizing a pricing officer to approve the amount, the interest rates, price redemption provisions, and terms thereof, and certain other procedures and provisions related thereto, approving additional agreements and other matters in connection therewith. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, good evening, board members and staff. I'm Thomas Lestraps. I work with Mr. David Gonzalez, who is the district's financial advisor with PFM Financial Advisors. We are here to discuss a bond restructuring proposed for the district's outstanding waterwork and sewer system revenue bond, Series 2019. That was sold, privately placed at JP Morgan in 2019. In your presentation here, we have just some graphical representation of the recent interest rate movement. As you can see, while they're off their highs over the past week or month, they're well in excess of what they were just this time last year. The interest rate the district received on the 2019 bonds was at 2.533. As you can see, unfortunately, that is well below what the current interest rates are right now. And it does appear the Fed will raise rates again at the end of the month here. So those should continue to increase, unfortunately. Moving on, we have a little overview of the district's debt, which is got a table there of all your outstanding bonds, the amounts issued as well as the amounts outstanding. There are also some information there about the call dates, which is the dates at which the district can refinance those bonds with no penalty. The 2019 bond, under discussion today, we have reached an agreement with JP Morgan to allow for breakage of that with no penalty to the district, so you will be able to pay that bond off at no interest rate penalty. Moving on, we have another graphical representation here, kind of the district's outstanding debt service by series. You can see the colors broken out. That revenue refunding bond, the green there, the majority of the district's debt service was issued in 2020 to refinance 5 series of loans, 3 with the Water Development Board and 2 with USDA. You can see the chart here, you can see the district has a level debt service just north of $2.5 million from 2022 through 2033, falling off thereafter from 2034 to 2049. And moving on, based on that, we have targeted the 2019 bond, which has a final maturity date of 8/1/2033. So it falls off, coinciding with the district's decline in their debt service profile. We targeted this bond in association with the district's finance staff. We're going to attempt to restructure this and essentially refinance it like you would a mortgage, pushing out the final payment date from 8/1/2033 to 8/1/2052, providing near-term debt service relief of approximately $200,000, $210,000 a year. We also have, moving on, kind of some brief numbers, and these are all preliminary. This is just based on some conservative estimates we've put together with our discussions with the NAD Bank, who would be the purchaser of this refunding bond. You can see we're going to be refunding $4.83 million in bonds. From 2023 to 2033, the district is going to receive an average debt service relief of $210,000. So that drops your interest rate, your debt service payment per year from north of 2.5 to around 2.25 from 2022 to 2033. We'll be pushing the remainder of that loan out farther into the declining portion of the district's debt service profile. So the district will not be increasing their debt service payments beyond what they already are paying right now. They should be receiving relief, and then that money would be pushed out, similar to refinancing your mortgage. There's some numbers that I put together in here. It's on page 11 here. You can see it's got a section with the district's existing debt service, principal interest total, less the 2019 refunded bond debt service there. plus a proposed, and again, these are all preliminary numbers, the 2019 refunding bond. So that would be what we'd issue here this year, and then you would get your proposed new aggregate total. And then on the far right column, we have a plus minus difference. And so you'll note that for the first 10 years of the bond, the district is receiving positive savings there. Following the 2033 payment, the amount of negative savings is just the payment on the new bond. There's another on page 12, there's essentially the same table. It's kind of a little bit easier to read. You can see, we've got it up there at the top, the average savings of $210,000 in relief provided to the district. This will allow time for the rate increases to take effect, give the district some cash flow relief, which it will then be able to pay off over an extended period of time. And then on the final page, we just have a brief summation of the working group participants for this deal, the proposed working group participants. PFM would be the financial advisor, bond counsel would be Mr. Rick Perez, the purchaser would be the North American Development Bank, which I know you're familiar with. They would also serve as the paying and escrow agent. Today, you are considering an authorization of just some parameters orders, which you're not agreeing to sell any bonds today. Essentially, we're agreeing to some legal language regarding some numbers not to exceed. I think it's 5.7 million would be the not to exceed amount for the 2022 refunding bond. 7% interest rate would be the not to exceed amount. We don't intend to get anywhere near 7%, but that gives us some breathing room in our discussions with NADBank. And a final maturity of 8/1/2052, which is a 30-year refunding. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding any of these numbers or this presentation.
I would like it to be at 3.5%, not 5%, you know.
Yes, sir. So would I. I was mentioning with the finance staff here that when we do continue these discussions with NADBank, we would argue for favorable redemption provisions from the bank. So, while the district may receive a high interest rate right now, we would argue for a 5 to 7 year call date, which at that time the district could refinance that loan when interest rates have gone down and normalized some.
Yeah, when we talked about a month ago was, I think we were looking at 3.5. 3.5 would save us about almost 100,000.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
sometimes it's good to refinance when you're gonna gain, but $200,000, I think it's a little bit too low, I don't know. But, what are we doing today? We're just,
I
approving.
believe, if I may, this is just the approval for the process to begin the negotiations with NADBank. Is that correct?
That is correct. We're not authorizing any sale. Nothing will be done today besides allowing.
You think you can get a low 4s or no?
In my discussions with Carrie, we settled that 5 was a good place to preliminary start this sort of discussion. This is Carrie with NADBank. That's dependent on her credit committee. We will certainly argue for the most favorable terms in terms of interest
And the reason
rate.
I'm telling you, because we're a 0.79% debt coverage. If this would only help us it's 82?
About 0.6 more, so 2.85.
Yeah, so it's not, that doesn't, give us a lot of, but it just gives us more time and more debt to the district.
Yes, it does push it out, and you will end up paying more over the life of the bond. But this is our intention, and this would also be refined with district staff. If there were certain debt service coverage levels that you would like to meet year over year, we can work to structure the principal repayment to where it'll be lower in the first 10 years, which would give you more breathing room. And this analysis I put together here, I put together an ascending debt service structure, so you're essentially paying every year a little bit more principal. We could level that out or reduce the amount for the first 10
Can we
years.
refinance in 5 years? No,
Which bond?
this one.
The 2019 one?
It's gonna be 10 years?
The one we would issue this year?
Mhm.
That is what I was discussing with the redemption provision. The standard for most bonds is 10 years, but with privately placed bonds, with a bank like NatBank, we have had success with arguing for a lower.
Whenever rates come down again.
That would be, yeah, and so if the rates did come down, you would receive that interest difference savings. Say you did have a 5% rate and they kind of returned to 2.5, 3, you would be saving that 2% if you refinanced in 5 or 7 years. So ideally, you would not, well, truthfully, even if you did have a 10-year loan, you would be getting the 10 years of debt service savings that I outlined, $210,000 a year. At that time, you would then refinance that bond for a lower interest rate.
Okay.
And this will all, we will represent kind of our final results here. This is just authorizing kind of the not to exceed amounts, allowing us to continue our discussions with NatBank.
Sure.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Tijerina and I have a second by Perez.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 11, discussion and possible action on approval amending resolution by the AGUA Board of Directors submitted to North American Development Bank to continue certification of the East EDAP sewer project and authorize AGUA Board President and General Manager to execute any and all documents related to facilitate NatBank funding allocation for the Palmview Yard Line Connection Project Phase 1 and Phase 2.
Yes, Madam President, again, this is to authorize the AGUA Board President and the General Manager to execute any and all documents, of course, with the NatBank funding, and that's for the Yard Line Connection Project Phase 1 and Phase 2. Also included in the package is the technical assistance agreement, and this entails as far as the design, survey and design that has been already has been approved with M2 Engineering, and this funding will come from the Project Development Assistance Program, which is the PDAP. It's a separate funding from the $6 million that were allotted for the construction. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So basically, it'll give the approval and the authorization, I guess, to continue the certification of the East EDAP sewer project and authorize Board President and the General Manager to execute any and all documents pertaining to these projects.
On this one, Milo, you're already working on the design? Because I know it had been approved last year, right?
Well, this is for the additional areas,
Yeah.
so the board had already approved the work authorization, but this was still pending, like NatBank and EPA's final approval, and I think that's why this is.
So moved.
Have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Diaz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 12, discussion and possible action on approval by resolution ordering the general election for AGUA SUD directors to be held on November 8th, 2022.
Madam President, members of the board, the election for district or sub-districts 4, 5, and 4, 5, 6, and 7 will be this November 8th. And so this is a resolution approving the order calling the election. This will authorize the district staff to approach the county to organize all of the details of conducting the election and preparations for that November election. One of the things that if the board would like to discuss is in past years, one of the changes that occurred prior to the 2020 election is that now we have countywide voting, and so an individual can go anywhere in that county and vote. So in the 2020 election, the board selected one location as the polling place. Prior to that change, the district had selected numerous polling locations. We'll come back once we have kind of the process. If the board wants to direct district staff on a particular polling place, we will approach, the district staff will approach the county and work out the details for that application to work out the, that reservation, and then we'll come back next month with an order amending this order with the full details of the time and location, which the county have not currently worked out yet. But this order will call the election, put the public on notice, and if the board wants to direct staff towards a particular polling location, we'll begin that.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Diaz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And Madam President, if I may, is there a particular location that the board would like district staff to approach the county with? I know in 2020, the district used the Peñitas Public Library as the primary polling location. Prior locations in 2018, there was the Sullivan Fire Station, La Jolla Municipal Library. Those were the other two, and then we had different early voting. Oh, and the Mission High School on election day.
I thought 2020 was countywide.
It is countywide, that is correct.
2018 was in Peñitas only.
That's right. In 2020, we had, the county will still require us to choose one. And so in 2020, the district selected the Peñitas Public Library as just a de facto one to have with the county under the contract. We can approach the county about that, or if there is a different location that the board would prefer, we can pursue that.
Why don't we just get the recommendation from the county and let the board decide at that time? If we have to amend, I don't know what you all.
Yeah.
I-
How
well,
about
We can do
using,
that.
how about using here the facility, would that save us money? Using, like, for people to come
Oh,
here
our
as a
own
set,
location?
yeah.
It
We
would
would have to
not,
pay for machines,
because
yeah.
you're paying for the machines.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I
but
think
we can
that-
approach the county, just generally about a county preferred location, and go from there. We can come back,
Yeah, 'cause
but
Yeah, I believe once county gives us the list of what it is, then we can go ahead and
go
decide.
from there. Because we also gotta
Okay.
be, let's see what the school district's gonna do in our area on the west side. So we gotta kind of be at the same.
work
location.
with the school district.
Yeah, and I think that will save us money also, because if we start going out in different locations, it's gonna cost us more.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cause that's what happened back in 18.
okay. Would, if the board, agrees to the idea of working with the polling locations that the school district decides to go with, we could reach out to them and kind of collaborate with the school district on the location that the school district chooses. Would
Definitely, it would,
that could be
whatever
a
saves
motion,
us.
if the board
Yeah.
wanted to make a
some money.
motion to direct staff to coordinate with the school district on polling locations, we could do that.
I'm good.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, this one's, do I have to go back to item number 12?
Well, it's still under that same item,
Okay,
so you could do that.
okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, do I need a,
So we make a motion to,
No, the order
just for the
will
order, just,
authorize us to do
Okay.
that.
yeah, this
Okay.
is just a direction.
Yeah,
For
we
the
just
following
needed the
meeting.
direction.
Okay, so we're good. Okay, so proceeding to item number 13, discussion and possible action regarding change order number 4 with RDH Site and Concrete LLC for the Mile 3 Road Waterline Relocation Improvement Project.
Good evening, board members. Milo Salinas here. Change order number 4 for the Mile 3 Waterline Relocation Project is basically a reconciliation of quantities and additional time to finish a punch list. The plan is to have a walkthrough this week. They're basically all the pipes in the ground. And the change order is to decrease the contract amount by $42,109.40. So this is actually a decrease.
Wow.
That's a first.
Yeah, so moved. I'll be proud to be so moved on this one.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Diaz. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 14, discussion and possible action regarding change order number 4 with Morwell LLC for the NatBank Palmview Yard Line Project hookup project.
So unfortunately, on this one, it's not a decrease. This change order here is basically also a reconciliation of quantities to date because we have short connections, medium connections, and long connections. We've exhausted the medium connections, and the last time we met with Mr. Carlos Acevedo with NatBank, requested that we reconcile quantities and then project how many mediums we anticipate. And the reason for that is there's some lots that, even though they're 100 feet in length, you still have, sometimes you have other connections that are coming out of the other side of the house, so you have to extend additional pipe to go all around. But these are unit price items, so it's basically just a reconciliation of quantities to date with an anticipation of 30 connections for the connections that are pending. We have a total of 1,515 that have been installed right now. Out of those 1,515, 1,433 are live and connected. And out of those, 1,313 septic tanks have been pumped and hauled, and 1,305 have been fully decommissioned. And then I also wanted to include a status update on the phase 2, which we just discussed on the NatBank. Right now, we've already completed the survey topography, so we're just now initiating the design phase. We anticipate being able to get it to the bidding phase probably by November, and we hope to try and do it sooner. The cost estimate that we did for the additional work is $2 million, and that includes 10% contingency. And we also updated those costs based on today's market cost. We do anticipate also breaking it up as a base bid and an alternate bid when we get to that point, just to assure that we're able to do the construction within the budget that the district has once the other project is closed out, because this is basically from the original $6 million, so whatever's left over, we want to make sure that it's basically with those funds and no additional cost to the district.
Milo, I have a question. I know last year we had discussed about who's actually physically like checking the lines, how much feet is per section, because I know when LNG did finish their project, Marvel went in there, but we had asked that who was doing it, and nobody physically was doing it.
So whenever they submit a payment application, they're required to provide an as-built for every single house. It's just a sketch drawing that comes with it. So that gets submitted on with every single payment application.
Okay, but that's on Morville side.
Yes.
Okay, so who do we have that's checking for AGUA SUD to verify that these numbers are correct? That it is, let's say 500, certain amount long, and then 500 short. Who and for AGUA SUD is checking that?
We are,
Because-
our inspectors.
Okay, so
Our
y'all-
inspectors,
but
yes.
y'all are, because I know this was brought up last year,
Yes, we're the ones verifying that.
because that's when the change order about the piping, that, okay, do we actually need so much pipe? And I know several of the directors brought up that.
Yeah,
that
for the additional cost of materials.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end, whenever we finish the project, that'll get tallied up to keep track of everything. But in regards to these services, these were done in conjunction with our inspectors and the contractor.
Okay,
And we have if you see on the change order, there's a list of every single address that's being added, yeah.
But you're going around my question. Did you all physically go and say, okay, this
Yes.
is 100 feet, 150 feet, 200 feet? That's what I'm asking.
They measure.
Just a yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They're measuring to make sure that it's over 150 to jump to a medium.
Okay.
Yes,
That way we're on the same page and it's on record that.
correct.
Yeah, I need a motion.
I need a motion for number 14.
So move.
I have a motion by Perez.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Diaz. All those in favor?
Right?
Aye. Anyone opposed? You're good, Homer? Yes. Motion carries. Item number 15, discussion and possible action on approval of assignment and assumption of contract relating to the non-standard service agreement for Coastal King LTD subdivision.
Madam President, members of the board, this is an assignment and assumption of contract where the district is signing onto and approving the assignment between Crossroads 2 Enterprises and Coastal King LTD. This is a NSSA that the district approved on a special meeting in May, on May 18th, I believe. And it is a 2-lot subdivision, 1 commercial, 1 residential. There was a bit of a log jam over the fees between the 2 entities and when sale and transfer and platting and the district approval would occur. This assignment clears that by placing both buyer and seller of that transaction, they will be splitting the costs of the NSSA, and both are bound with the obligations of the NSSA as well as the benefits of it. The reason for that, the complication is the buyer is buying lot 1, and the current owner that we have the NSSA with is going to be maintaining lot 2. And so this is to facilitate that.
What property is that?
It's the Coastal King subdivision.
It's the southeast corner of USA Expressway and the home.
Raymond Segovia?
Yes.
In the Wendy's.
Yeah. And so what this does is simply, it's our approval of Crossroads 2 Enterprises assigning basically the obligations of the NSSA for lot 1 to Coastal King. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, once that's done, Coastal King and Crossroads will pay the fee that we require to then approve the plat.
Are we gonna divide the invoice, or how are we gonna do that?
Well, the invoice already exists,
Okay.
and they will be, they'll be splitting it on their end.
But we're not doing anything until we get.
We don't
paid.
have, right, we aren't doing anything until we get paid. That was the logjam.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna figure out how much is for you, how much is for you, or what?
No, they're splitting it 50-50 per the assignment and assumption.
Okay.
So move.
I have a motion by Tijerina.
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Diaz. All those in favor?
All right.
Motion carries.
I hope it passes. I hope it's not a deal breaker.
Item number 16, General Manager's Report. 16A, May Financials.
Yes, Madam President, I have here Jaime Reina, Finance Director, to summarize the statements of net position.
Yes, Board, these financial statements are as of May 31st. If I could direct your attention to the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position, we modified the template to include 2021 year-to-date numbers as of the same respective month for comparability between the current year and prior year. Operating revenues are at 40% of the budget, and operating expenses are at 38%. Overall, we are in line with our budget.
Thank you, Jaime. Item number 17, District Engineers Report. 17A, Mad Bank Technical Assistance Agreement, sewer hookups.
If I may, Madam President, if we
Yes.
can go ahead and go to 17C, since M2 Engineering already reported on A, which is
and
the
B.
NetBank Technical Assistance Agreement, and also on B, Mile 3 Road Water Line Improvements.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna start with C, Texas Water Development Board, Palmview Sanitary Sewer Improvements Project. That's basically, the only phase that's pending is the SureTech section, that's phase 2. They've already met substantial completion in service area G7, A1, and A1E. The only section that's still pending to meet substantial completion to be able to start making connections also is service area G1, which is basically north of the expressway extending from Minnesota to Brayfogle. We have done several walkthroughs. We provided a punch list to the surety, and they started to complete some of those items, and there's some that are in dispute, but we anticipate them hopefully finishing within the next 45 to 60 days, if they continue to finish. Yeah. That's basically the status that we have on that project. On item D, Havana Water Treatment Plant Improvements Project with the Texas Water Development Board, that's in the environmental stage. We did receive a letter and a request from the Army Corps of Engineers to submit enforceable design plans because that section is in a flood zone. So we just responded to them last week on Wednesday. And so the EID, which is the environmental information document that we're working on, is approximately 75% complete. We anticipate finishing that up in the next 45 days. And then from there on, once the Water Development Board provides approval of that document, then they'll release funds to initiate the design phase. And that's our status on those projects.
That's for which one?
This is for a reservoir behind the Havana plant.
Got to do a lot of thinking in that one before we even go into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Milo.
Thank you, Milo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Item number 18, executive session. As provided by Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Sections 551.071 through 551.091, the Board of Directors may convene in closed executive session to deliberate, discuss, or consult regarding the matters listed below, and on proper motion and approval, any of the items set forth above. Item A, Texas Water Development Board, Palmview Sanitary Sewer Project Improvements Project. Item B, Performance Services Inc. litigation. Item C, Jimmy Klosner and Sons liquidated damages for Palmview Wastewater Collection Systems Phase 1, lift stations A2, F, G, and G7, Project 3. Item number D, cause number C 3353-20-I, SMB Infrastructure versus AGUA Special Utility District in the District Court of Hidalgo County, Texas 398th Judicial District. And then item E, Mendiola Water Storage Tank Project. And item F, Santa Cruz Properties Pipeline Road Waterline Easement. With that being said, I need a motion to go into executive at 6:44 p.m.
Motion to go to executive.
I have a motion by Diaz and I have a second by Tijerina. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.